city. I know the times are hard, but none of us have much to...
One beer, please.
Greetings, friends. Excuse me.
Did you hear who died?
Ha! I thought it was old Bart, but then I heard him coughing his lungs up and...
Not a chance.
By the way,
That old coot will outlive
like
us
you were
all.
saying about that book,
My favourite book. Pray tell, did you find it?
as I wandered through the fortress, I stumbled upon von Bergov's chambers, and there it lay.
It's a mystery.
Red leather, gold inlay,
His mother
just as you
said
said.
he'd been
You really
complaining
found
he couldn't
it.
feel his left
Thank
arm,
you,
and
thank
that
you,
he was
thank
seeing
you.
things.
And he was dead in the morning.
By the way,
Poor
did
thing.
you have any time to leaf through it
He had
and
his
see
whole
what
life
it's
in front
about?
of him. And next thing you know, he's being buried.
I read a bit of it.
What did you think?
Why don't you tell me what you find so compelling about it? It's your favourite book, right?
Well, let's say that I identify with the author. We share a similar view of the world.
And who is the author? I didn't find a name in the book.
That's on purpose.
You wrote it, didn't you?
Look, you've never thought about writing something.
Me? And what would I write?
How should I know? Poetry, a novel, a treatise, or a whole book?
That's a tempting notion. Who knows? In another life, I might have become a writer.
Wouldn't you want to at least give it a try?
I suppose I'm not quite sure where you're going with this.
There are still a few blank pages left, so we could finish writing it together. You and me. What do you think?
That sounds great.
We'll have plenty of light and privacy in my chambers. Will you escort me?
My pleasure.
How should I start?
You haven't thought of anything yet?
Now, I have many ideas, but we must contribute in equal part.
Both? Well, fine. And what should I do?
Just tell me what you'd like to read about. A tale of a man or a woman? I'll take careful notes of everything.
There are heaps of stories about men. So I propose one about a woman.
All right, a woman then. But I'd need to know more about her.
Such as...
Tell me one trait that is important for you. What would impress you in a girl?
I admire courage in girls. They're weaker than men, and life is rarely easy for them. But they still don't give up.
Do you know one like that? Tell me about her.
How could I not? After all, I'm looking at her.
You think I'm brave? Father says I'm more rash, always acting before thinking.
Well, nobody's perfect. But in my opinion, you're certainly brave.
Enough, you flatterer, or I shall blush. We'd better get to writing. Let's say we write about a woman who is brave and isn't afraid to say what she thinks. Would she do it for herself or for someone else?
Make her brave for someone she loves. That's much more commendable than if she were only thinking of herself.
You can't disagree with that. And to make things a little more interesting, the love will be secret and forbidden. Because forbidden fruit tastes the sweetest. Well, just about finished.
Well, let's have a look.
Not yet. Something's missing.
What?
A picture. I don't trust myself with proper illumination, but I think I can handle a sketch. Especially if you'll be my model.
What? And what on earth do I have to do?
Lie on the ground on your stomach and swing your legs. But not much. Like you're lazing around.
Oh, that doesn't sound too bad.
Well, now we're done.
Finally. I'm sore all over.
Your suffering is over. Come take a look at what we've done. Your reward. Go on, read it. I want to hear what you think of it. So what about that story of ours? Tell me your impressions.
That's nice. A bit didactic, but not to the point of boring moral bludgeoning. And that's the way it should be. Sermons for ordinary people work in a similar way. They entertain and encourage, with a few lessons added in between.
You see, when I lead mass one of these days, I'll certainly think of you. And what about the sketch? For such a slapdash job, it's not bad, right?
Oh, it's pretty, really. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
I know I'm no master illuminator, but otherwise, I think we can be quite satisfied. And thank you for the help. I really enjoyed it.
Well, so did I. And for that matter, you're an interesting girl, and I'd like to get to know you a little better.
No beating around the bush. How about that? Please do stop by sometime. I wager it will be enlightening for both of us. Perhaps I can show you my collection of hunting trophies.
You said you could teach me
If you ask nicely.
Very well then, Lady No.
That depends on what you're interested in. There's a whole... Or if you prefer actions instead of... But I warn you in advance that it will not come... So,
I'd like to expand my... What's the last thing you...
you'd better believe it. I only read interest...
God be with you. Keep the peace.
I apologize.
What's the hold-up? Am I supposed to open my mouth and wait for it to rain? My God, what's taking so long?
At least you know when to round up the cattle and gather in the hay.
Aye. When I'm old and infirm, folks will come to me for the weather forecast.
I heard...
I better not forget about that council assembly.
You're always welcome here, noble sir.
Glad to see you again.
You have the gall to show me your face again? I'll call the guards.
Hold your horses. I'll come in peace. Actually, I have a little offer for you.
You've come to blackmail me again?
Call it what you like. I need to get into the city council assembly, and I reckon you can help me.
The assembly? The one King Sigismund is supposed to attend in person?
Surely you wouldn't deny me a chance to meet the king?
Don't try that on me. This is connected with Ruthard, isn't it? And tell the truth.
Innkeeper, what's taking so long?
Well, I just want to climb the social ladder a bit. Nothing wrong with that, is there?
And could you not choose a different occasion for that?
Have you forgotten I have you over a barrel? If you want to keep your position and your head on your shoulders, you better shape up.
All right, all right. Maybe we can make a deal. If I get you into the council, you'll behave appropriately and you won't betray yourself, or especially me. And that will be the end of our business together.
And how about a few groschen to seal our fruitful relationship?
You're worse than a horse dealer. Have it your way, then. You can get into the council assembly relatively easily. My cook's son will be serving there. He's roughly around your age. Maybe he can be persuaded to let you stand in for him. Although, not everyone would want to give up an opportunity to serve the King of Hungary.
Who's this boy?
Franta's his name. Franta Cooldown. He's an idler and a boozer, but he's proved his worth as a waiter. Which reminds me, you'll need his letter of permission to serve in the council. Otherwise, you won't be let inside.
What will I need to work as a waiter there?
Fast feet and good manners. And the livery of a royal waiter.
Excuse me?
Do you think you can serve the king in a torn shirt and muddy hose?
Well, no. But I never heard about any livery before.
Our usual waiter had a brand new livery made specially for meeting the king. Don't even show up there without it.
Where can I find the cook's boy?
He's supposed to pick up his new clothes at the market today from Master Tailor Schneider. You'll almost certainly run into him there. That is, if he's up and about after his boozing bout. I swear that fellow practically lives at that Tin Hen.
At the what?
That German alehouse, the Iron Eagle. That is Zum Eisernen Adler.
What would work on him? How can I persuade him to give me his job?
Would you like me to give you a letter for him? I told you how to get to the assembly. Now do your part.
I'll be going then. See you at the council.
Just make sure we both come out of it alive.
Well then. I've half a mind to
Einen
reply
Moment
straight
noch.
away. But I won't send you to town again. I'll leave it till the morning. You may go now.
God bless you, sir.
You must be Franta Cooldown.
I am. And who might you be?
I'm Henry. I heard you're supposed to serve at the City Council Assembly.
I am. What's it to you?
Supposing I took the job on for you. You can put your feet up, fill your belly, and I'll do all the work for you.
Look here. It's not like I'm all that keen on it, but it's well paid. Apart from that, it's a bit of a pain in the arse. Them councillors stuffing their faces and guzzling wine, while I run around like a bugger with pitchers so they don't run dry. Why would you want to stick your nose in there?
I just have to get in there, understand? I have an important message for the king about a plot against him.
But why would you want to get to him as a waiter?
But it could be that someone from the council is mixed up in it, so I have to be incognito. See?
I see. All right then. To begin with, you'll need confirmation that you've worked as a waiter at the council and you're capable of serving even His Majesty. Look here. Do you have any idea what's expected of you? Can you tell different wines apart and that?
Of course. Who do you take me for?
All right. No need to get upset. Show the confirmation to the head butler. Tell him I sent you and think up some good excuse. Clear?
That makes sense.
And you'll need a waiter's livery. I had a brand new one made. I didn't get round to picking it up, so go and see Schneider in the market.
Thanks. I won't disgrace you, I promise.
You better not. God be with you, good sir.
You're always welcome here, noble sir.
You must be Master Schindel. They sent me from the baths.
Well, well, well. I reckon they want me to cease with those complaints, eh? But I shall not. I will go to the town council tomorrow to complain against those thieves again. And I shall continue to go there until I get the justice due to me.
What was it that happened to you?
They robbed me. After a long trip from Prague, I wanted to treat myself to the local bards, but they must have put something in my wine. My head was completely numb, and when I staggered out of the baths, this nasty whoreson attacked me.
What exactly did they take from you?
A rare copy of Erasmo's Le Livre du Ciel et du Monde, and my astrolabe as well. It was given to me by the Archbishop of Mainz himself.
So, a book, and did you say an astrolabe?
Yes. It is a device used to calculate the position of celestial bodies, but it likely caught the thief's eye because it's made of bronze.
Probably, yes. About that drugged wine, that's a pretty strong accusation. Are you certain you weren't just drunk? Just a bit of wine is enough in a hot bath.
Even if I was drunk, that doesn't change a thing. I was robbed.
Well, they robbed you behind the baths, so it does change things.
Young man, I have traveled through half of Europe during my studies. I know these tricks very well. As I said, it is a clear criminal conspiracy.
Did you really just take a bath when you were there?
Of course not. But that's not something to talk about in polite society.
And isn't that a little hypocritical?
You sound like those priests from Bethlehem Chapel. It is hypocritical, but that's the norm. And social judgment is more than an individual, and only God is above that.
And so?
So I indulge in a vice with a buxom wench. But we don't have to talk about it that way, do we?
I thought I'd take a look for those things they stole from you.
Be my guest. I don't know how you intend to search for them, but if that is your wish, I shan't stop you. And of course, I shall reward you generously.
All right then.
Go then. Will we meet again? Ah.
I have to admit.
Greetings.
Surely you can wait a while. I have a customer here. Here you are. The finest fabric. Intricate work. You won't find the likes anywhere else in this town.
No more than I'd expect after the amount they cost. Thanks. I'll gladly recommend you if anyone asks. And you impatient fella, what was it you wanted?
You must be Franta Cooldown.
I am. And who might you be?
I'm Henry. I heard you're supposed to serve at the City Council Assembly.
I am. What's it to you?
Supposing I took...
Look here, them count... Why would you...
I just have to... I have an imp...
But why would you...
But it could be that someone from the council...
I see. To begin with, you'll need confirmation that you've worked... Look here. Do you...
Of course.
All right, all right. Show the confirmation to...
That makes sense.
And you'll need a... Here it is. I look like a prick in it. Hopefully it'll sit better on you. The main thing is, don't lose it before the assembly, or get it covered in shit.
Thanks. I won't disgrace you. I promise.
You better not.
Softest linen canvas. Come and buy the finest canvas.
5 wares.
Franta Cooldown sent me. I'm to stand in for him at the council assembly.
Franta's not coming? What's wrong with him?
He got poisoned. Probably from food. He's writhing in agony. By turns praying and cursing, spewing from both ends.
Oh, that's enough. All right. At least you're here.
We can't be without a waiter here, when the king himself will need waiting on.
So, let's have a look at you. Have you got Franta's certificate?
Sure. Here it is.
Everything's in order. Now, about your livery. You've got a waiter's cap. A tunic you have. Hose are good. You can put your steel aside in front of the council chamber, along with your other stuff. You won't be needing it anyway. You don't want to be dragging a load if you're running around tables. Everything as it should be. Glad to see it, lad. Do you know what your duties are? For an inexperienced greenhorn like you, it'll be a great responsibility.
Well, I'll happily listen to any advice. I wouldn't want to foul things up.
I should certainly hope not. Now listen. A good waiter should stand in a corner, look willing and ready, and not get in anyone's way. In short, behave as if you're not there. But when one of the gentlemen calls for wine, you run and pour it for him on the double. You'll find the pitchers on a table by the door to the chapel. You take one and go to their table and pour for them. White Tokaib or red monastery wine.
White or red, by the door to the chapel. Got it.
But for Councillor Adam of Zarjitz, you must not pour at all. When he drinks, he disrupts and makes trouble. So the assembly has to be interrupted, or otherwise it never reaches an end. We can't allow that to happen in the presence of the king.
All right. Sir Adam of Zarjit stays dry.
And if the king himself wants wine, you pour for him with lowered eyes. Don't look at him. And the most important thing?
To stay in the background and keep quiet until someone asks me something?
Correct. The councillors have a lot to discuss, and they certainly don't need any interruptions. And in general, a good waiter has to be invisible, blind, and deaf.
Oh? I thought I had to keep my ears pricked.
Well, yes, but only to what anyone wants from you. No excuses, and provide everything that anyone wants from you. Understood?
Absolutely. I'm a waiter, after all. Not some street gossip monger.
Correct. And if you manage not to botch it up, you can even rise on the social ladder. Not just anyone can serve the King of Hungary, but you'll manage it, right?
I've got
something more important. If you need to go for a piss or
Naked, riding on a pig, yelling about
Prosperous.
Here I am.
Let's have a look. You've got a waiter, a tube. You can put your steel aside in front of the council chamber, along with your other stuff. You won't be needing it anyway. You don't want to be dragging a load if everything... Do you know what you... Something if you need to...
Here I am.
Let's have a look. You've got a tube. You can put your steel aside in front of the council chamber, along with your other stuff. You won't be needing it anyway. You don't want everything. Do you know what you...
I know everything I need to. I can do it.
Excellent. Put away your things here. It's easier to serve with a lighter load. You can wait in the cubbyhole for the servants.
The city reserves are in urgent
There are the
need
pictures of
weapons.
wine.
Unversucht.
Hopefully I won't
Our
splash
current
anyone's shoes.
Waffenarsenal is a joke. And on top of that, the army was
You there,
requisitioning from
lad.
it.
A cup
Should
of red.
the town
And
reserve
don't
have
you
worse
skimp on
weapons than any Räuber in the domain?
What are you getting at, Eldris?
I'm saying that the bandits who freed Hinnick, the Dry Devil, used that thing. That
Come now, waiter.
Hackenbush
I wanted red.
hand cannon. Can you believe it? Where did they get them?
You're the one who should know where they got them.
I
Since you're a
apologise, sir.
gunsmith.
Which one?
What are you implying?
Monastery red.
Friedrich? All I'm saying is that they had them, Herrgott. It is eine Schande when outlaws have better
Good,
weapons
sir.
than the city garrison. And Herr König surely knows
Thank you,
this
waiter.
too.
What is it, Eldris? You smell a deal?
What I smell is that your stubborn heads do not realize what Schwierigkeiten this is. The Dry Devil is running free. There are Raubritter everywhere in the region. We have the army bearing down, and
I
you want
fancy
to
some
defend
Tokai.
yourselves with a
Refill,
few
boy.
rusty halberds.
And who is it you want
sorry,
to fight?
sir.
Exactly.
Orders
The
from
merciful
above.
King
This is
Sigismund providing
unbelievable.
us with protection, isn't he?
Der König and his army will not be here forever.
Shut up! The king can arrive at any moment. What if he heard you?
What then? We're sitting atop the
Hey, waiter,
biggest
pour
silver
me some
heap in the
monastery wine.
kingdom, and we're supposed to defend it with brooms?
You're right, Eldris. But where can we get the coin for better equipment?
I
Can always
apologise, sir.
confiscate the property
Which
of
wine?
the king's enemies.
Monastery
Nicht wahr?
red.
We are more than familiar with the jämmerlich state of our armory. And the king is surely aware of it as well.
Sir?
Maybe if he waived some of the taxes.
The king
Well,
fears that this
thank
town
the
will
Lord.
rise against him. He'll take the arming of the city's militia as a preparation for war.
So you suggest we just wait with arms crossed for the Raubritter
sorry.
to wreak havoc all around?
We can always ask the king to bring order to the realm with his army.
But then the Dörfler will rise up.
I'm afraid I see no solution of the current situation. We shall wait and see what His Majesty thinks about the matter. Maybe we can change his mind. Vielleicht?
I'd like to report to the Honorable Council on the cleanliness of the city and the state of the public baths.
You mean baths or brothels?
Isn't it the same thing?
Hey, waiter, pour me some monastery
So,
wine.
the cleanliness of the
That's
city
not a good
is
idea,
not
sir.
This
what
is
it should be.
unbelievable.
The current baths in the city fall far short of covering all the citizens' needs.
You're right.
Hey, waiter!
We do have the new baths in Hopbrink, and Adam's old ones. But
More
I
wine,
hear the
Master
Hopbrink
Bailiff.
baths are more
I
of a
have enough
pigsty.
wine.
They
Come
still are
closer.
a bit, but the quality went downhill at Adams.
I need something from you. There is an item in my study that I confiscated from a female thief. She thought she could wriggle out of it by telling me who the item belongs to.
And what is it?
A silver goblet. She sneaked into Sir Ulrich's house and stole it. No one's noticed the theft yet. But if Ulrich finds out, he'll turn the city upside down to find the culprit. Go and get it. And don't you make a mess there, understand?
More baths? Surely.
I can't. I'm supposed to serve the lords.
You're supposed to do what you're told. But suit yourself. I'll go and get it myself after the assembly.
The walls.
Certainly. And they can get leeches there for free
Tokai,
as well.
and a full cup.
And while he's there, a man can shave and take a... you-know-what.
So what? Going to the baths
I apologise,
is neither a
sir.
civic duty nor
Which
a
one?
right.
Have you forgotten the Black Death?
Are you deaf?
A great many people died needlessly.
Good, sir.
Are you questioning God's plan? The Black Death
About
had nothing to do with the baths. Unless the Lord wishes to punish the wickedness that's going on.
I fancy some
Keeping the
Tokai.
city clean is
Refill,
important.
boy.
I'm sorry, sir.
Money to spare.
Orders from
Arguing
above.
about
This is
who is going to wash
unbelievable.
where and how is a waste of time.
I got word that Rutard has pulled off another deed.
That's nothing unusual.
I
That
fancy
old
some
weasel
Tokai.
will never
Refill,
accept that
boy.
the city isn't run his way.
I apologise, sir.
At least until His
Which way?
Majesty honours
Tokai.
us with his visit.
White.
And as we know,
deaf?
Gunslin absolutely hates him.
He can hate all he wants, as long as he does no damage. Ulrich, what have you got to say about it?
Me? Well, I'm not
sir.
sure what you're implying.
I'm speaking about the Rutard incident.
Well, thank
you were
the
there,
Lord.
weren't you?
Oh, that. Just a small misunderstanding. We've sorted it out and everything's settled.
Oi!
My
Full
ears
cup of
must be
monastery
deceiving
wine.
me. Are you defending Rutard? Besides, if his men attacked yours, as I've heard, then we have a good reason to punish him.
What happened there? Leave nothing out.
Waiter!
I don't like
I wanted
Rutard.
monastery wine!
In this case, it really
Thank
was
you,
nothing.
waiter.
Everyone in the city gossiped about it. I heard there were several dead.
Did you? That's grossly exaggerated. I don't think Rutard will cause any trouble. He is sensible enough not to draw attention to himself while the king
Hey,
is
waiter.
here.
Pour me some
That's
Tokai.
true. Because if we don't do something about him, the king himself will put an end to him, and soon.
Unless he puts an end to us first.
Sir?
God knows what he wants to tell us.
If nothing happened, there's no point
Well,
in
thank
dwelling
the
on it. Let's move on.
Things have got out of order in the town. Some adventurers decided to take the law into their own hands and restore the tradition of duels. It's not only barbaric, but also illegal. I could understand it with mercenaries, students, and other scum of all kinds, but city councillors?
Be
Boy,
specific,
I'd like some
Forsuper.
white.
Are you blaming one of us?
Ah, and look who spoke first.
First of all, it wasn't a duel. It was supposed to be an honorable
Sir?
combat. And I didn't even take part in it.
And that's the only
Don't hang
reason
around
you're
me.
still here
Vanish,
on the
you
council
hear me?
and not in the pillory.
If you want to blame somebody, you should
As you
point
wish,
the finger at the youngster
Sir
here
Ulrich.
who's...
Excuse me.
I don't want to see you again.
Never mind.
I suspect the gentleman from the
Hey,
city's sword fighting
waiter.
school brought this custom to us. It's
Refill,
now run
sir.
by the
Do you think I come
German
to the council
Menhar.
just to guzzle
Who
wine?
knows who that
Come
fellow
here.
is?
Don't be ridiculous, Forsucker.
What can I help you with, sir?
I left my gloves in the chapel. I took them off to pray, but then I rushed here and forgot to take them. I can't just get up and walk out now. But if you disappear for a little while,
I really shouldn't, sir.
a fine servant you are.
Matters to deal with.
More pressing than the open contempt of the whole town garrison. The guards are apparently settling accounts their own way. We'll soon be the laughingstock of the whole town.
You can rest assured the whole
I
town
fancy
is
some
already
Tokai.
laughing at us all day
Refill,
long.
boy.
I'd
So
like
what
to
if they have
oblige,
one more
but
reason?
I'm not allowed.
This
My
is
words
unbelievable.
exactly.
Otherwise I'll soon
The
give
town
myself
council
away.
is squabbling constantly at the Emperor Charles, and no one is left unscathed.
And you, a councillor, let people throw dirt on our work?
If I threw out everyone who complains over a beer, I'd soon be out of customers.
Ah, to hell with it. We'll never get anywhere like this. Why waste our time?
Since there's the eternal dispute over the cathedrals, the building of the church is dragging on, and in the meantime, they are calling diocesan pilgrimages to settlers, right under our noses. It's just a village with a monastery, and they are going to make a royal mining city. Why can't we build faster? Hire more craftsmen, start with night shifts.
Haven't you noticed there's a war going on? Are the
Hey,
experts
waiter!
from far off
Pour me
supposed to
some
work in the
Tokai.
city under siege?
Besides, I get the feeling there's something other than the welfare of the city behind your complaints.
Oh, you do? Do you? And what would that be?
Like, for instance, that you'd like to have your
You,
altar
lad.
there?
So what if I would?
Familiar to me.
Hold your horses,
Have we
gentlemen.
met?
That space in the side nave is mine.
Well,
Then
naturally.
hell freezes over, mein
I
Freund.
go to your tavern
Your
almost
place
every
is at
day.
least 2 steps
Really?
behind mine.
A
Then
swordsmith
you must have
dares
decent
to
wages
insult
to
me?
be able to visit the best tavern in
I
town
think
regularly.
not.
Excuse me? You wanted to buy yourself an altar in the cathedral, just like you bought yourself a seat in this council.
How dare you? I acquired my seat for the services our guild provided and still provides to the crown.
Hey, boy.
Well, I
full
hope
cup
you're
of
not
honest
supplying
wine.
equipment to the army. If that's all they have, they would be defeated by that bunch of ne'er-do-wells from the alehouse on Obrink.
What ne'er-do-wells?
Those wrestlers of theirs, of course. People from the whole town go to watch them brawl.
It's you?
Oh,
I see
this
you've come up in the world. From a
Because
bathhouse
it has
boy
all
to a
been
waiter.
sorted out.
You'll go a long
Not
way.
long ago, the
might
guards
make
raided
councillor
and threw them
one day.
all out.
Ah, yes, I had...
You're a merry soul,
What do
lad.
we have to
I
discuss
like that.
next?
I'm telling you, something is being planned.
Oh, I doubt it. No one's gonna tackle Rootard.
Azon algyűjtsek össze. A legjobb katonákat, és keljenek útra!
You have nothing to fear. Not you.
Unlike this plan of fights!
Come now, father. Put a little life into your dying. Seen more cheerful priests at funerals.
I'd rather be at one than here. I hoped I'd never see this fortress again in my life.
Unpleasant memories?
You have no idea. I didn't part ways with my father on entirely good terms. 20 years ago.
And now you're 2 decades older and wiser. At your Ujit's parish, you spread the word of God to your flock, and you saved my neck and Henry's too. I'd say your father should be proud of you.
None of that matters a damn to him.
Who knows? Maybe that 20 years has changed a thing or two.
You know what? Let's drop the subject. Who's that French fellow you brought here from Malashov?
The great Baron Brabant. Been everywhere, knows everything, and has the keys to half the kingdom. He's got more fairy tales than my old nanny.
Can he be trusted?
He's a blabbermouth, but a harmless one. Besides, he defended Kuttenberg, and you know how that went. If he were on Sigismund's side, he'd hardly have been locked up with me.
Do you know any of the guests here?
Most of them I'm seeing for the first time in my life. It's a pretty varied company. We've had bandits, nobles, burghers, a priest, and even a rabbi coming together here. It's like the start of some joke.
Wait a moment. Rabbi, you say? The Kuttenberg rabbi?
Yeah. He came with a retinue. But for now, they're keeping mostly to themselves. Maybe you should go and welcome some of them. After all, this used to be your home. And you're a spiritual man too, so you should have something in common.
I wouldn't be too sure. But I suppose I can try. How does it feel to breathe free air again?
What can I say? You can never truly appreciate freedom until someone locks you up for a while.
Or until you become a priest.
No fear of that in my case. I intend to enjoy life to the full. Wine, women, and song.
What do you plan to do now you're a free man again?
What do you think? Get drunk, woo one of the local wenches, and wake up in the morning with no hose and a head like a church bell.
Have you perchance forgotten we're supposed to be deciding the future of the kingdom here?
I'll leave that to the older and wiser. And duller.
Dear me. I'd rather creep off into some corner with a full wineskin. But I suppose I'll have to introduce myself to the rest of the guests, eh?
Indeed you should. After all, you are one of the lords of Rabosh.
Oh, don't start with that. I'd like to steer clear of the old man as long as I can.
In that case, you should sound out Radzig and Hanush and find out what they're actually planning.
Such rare guests. One wouldn't expect to find among Christians representatives of your community. I'm Godwin. My greetings to you.
Peace be with you. Neither would one expect a priest here. And yet...
How do you know I'm a priest?
It's not difficult to tell. After all, we have much in common. And we are both a little on unfamiliar ground here. I'm Yehuda, leader of the rabbinical court in the sacred community of Kuttenberg. And this is Samuel, my aide.
Who would rather not be here at all. Why did we have to come here, Sadie? Can you not see everyone is staring at us?
Because we all need to help each other in this time of need. And why would they not stare when you are frowning so?
Are you here to arrange some trade?
We have more serious matters to attend to here than gaining a few groschen. The situation in the town and the kingdom is unsustainable. The whole land is on the brink of destruction. You have men and weapons. We have the means to sustain them.
Why are you telling this to a Koimer? You wanted to deliver what we brought to the Margrave and quickly leave.
Everything in good time, Samuel. We have just arrived, after all.
Did you come to lend money to the lords?
Not to lend, but to give. Help given to the needy is repaid only by God.
You don't even know if you can trust them. With that money, we could have paid mercenaries ourselves.
You remind me of my young friend Henry. He's a bit of a hothead too.
Henry? That messenger of Radzig Copula?
You know each other? You're both around the same age.
That would be him. But we did not get off to a very good start.
I reckon the two of you would hit it off. He's reliable, and has his heart in the right place. For a young stripling, he's been through plenty. It's not so long since his parents were killed in Skalitz. He was supposed to become a blacksmith, and instead, he's roaming the world, risking his neck at every turn.
Wait, a blacksmith, you say? From Skalitz?
Aye, that's right. Did you know anyone there?
I knew of someone. A blacksmith by the name of Martin.
My daughter knew him most, and that is why Samuel is in this world. For our numerous sins.
Maybe he was my father, but he certainly didn't act like one. Ma raised me on her own.
And that was all for the best.
Why? He should have taken care of me, but instead he fathered another bastard.
Don't make hasty judgments. As far as I know, Martin didn't have any other children. At least, none of his own. He took in Henry, and raised him as his own, on the orders of the Lord of Skalitz, Sir Radzik Kobila. Henry's real father.
I don't care if he took care of 20 other Mamsas.
That boy's blood father denied him, just like yours did to you.
A person can't choose their parents. And Henry only found out about it recently.
Enough. I'd rather have a drink. Will you have one too, Zayde?
For that, there will be more suitable times.
Good health.
L'chaim.
It's easy for him to rouse people to war when he has nothing to lose.
I'm glad you finally accepted it.
Good health to you, sir. I'm Godwin, a friend of that lad you arrived with, Henry. We don't know each other.
Baron Vauclin Brabant, Chevalier d'Arezzo. The last of my line. I am a warrior, a traveler, a strategist, and also, à ma manière, a poet.
My word. Isn't that exhausting?
Mais non! And I'm glad to meet a new friend.
I beg your pardon, but I'm not looking to make friends here.
But you seek allies, no? Is it not in a sense the same thing? The friend of my friend is also my friend, and you say you know Henri, a likable boy, although he could still learn quite a lot from moi-même.
How did you end up imprisoned in Malashov?
Ah, c'est une histoire compliquée. It was after I heroically led the defense of Gothenburg, and only lost it narrowly by an unfortunate turn of events.
That needs some explanation. What unfortunate turn of events?
Oh, misère. It is clear you have never been to war.
So, be so kind as to enlighten me.
When they broke through the defense, I ended up in captivity. It was only due to my acquaintances in a court that I escaped execution.
Oh? I thought it was Henry who saved your neck.
My neck was not at risk in Malashov. I may have still been a prisoner with my personal freedom restricted, but they never broke my spirit.
You say you're a poet? How about a verse or two to amuse us?
Jamais. Is poetry nothing but a fuss to you? Is a poet a gesture for amusement? I think not. To recite, I require the proper mood. And besides, few here would understand me.
Where have you been on your travels? Have you seen the ocean?
But of course! I was born by the sea. If you are interested in my greatest journeys, then I have traveled with a merchant caravan all the way to the Ottoman Empire. And if you are interested in my greatest deed, then That was perhaps saving the life of the King of France.
And you wouldn't by any chance know the Pope, personally?
Which one do you mean? I spoke briefly with Boniface IX when I was sojourning in Rome. A pleasant fellow.
How come almost nobody here knows you?
I am operating, as they say. Incognito. My great benefit is my strong connection with the French court. There, everyone knows my name. Here in Bohemia, I'm still building my reputation, slowly, but surely.
Dear friends and allies, in these troublesome times, you all know why we're here. The question remains, what to do next? Sigismund is facing troubles in Hungary, and here too, he is up against resistance. He's a capable strategist, but a poor diplomat. Mark my words. If we wait him out until winter, he will leave of his own accord.
By winter, he'll have torched all our fortresses and carried off everything that we possess.
Are we seriously gonna wait and cower in a corner? Or are we gonna drive them out in shame? A few well-planned raids and we could have him in our fists!
At what price? Have you got men to spare? Has any of you got men and money to spare?
We don't have men out there.
Yes, we do.
We do not.
Jobst is right. That whole sun won't fall easily.
Only we can't wait.
Are we to get ourselves killed?
Or end with nothing?
Do you have the news?
I'm not going to die.
Friends, we'll get nowhere like this. Let's adjourn ourselves and try to think it through.
Well, that went just as expected.
Good health. And to yours. Could it have gone any other way when there's so many of us here?
I would have expected a bit more sense from Jobst, of all people. He made an amateur's mistake. But it's hard to be angry with him when he's trying to ingratiate himself with everyone. By the way, I'm John of Liechtenstein. And you must be Godwin, the son of...
That's not a thing I've ever boasted of. How do you know that?
I have my sources. From what I've heard about you, I'd judge you could be quite useful to me at today's gathering.
Is that so?
Indeed. And that's why I'd like to ask something of you.
It depends what it's all about.
A little delicate diplomacy. I expect we can agree that Jobst's plan has certain shortcomings?
That's a weak word.
And the way it stands at the moment, he'll never get the support of the Council. But I have an idea how to change that.
Well, I'm curious how you hope to shut Zizka up and satisfy the ones who want peace.
We'll sit and wait quietly until Sigismund withdraws of his own volition, as Jobst proposes, but we'll be waiting in the military camp of our huge new army.
If Sigismund decides to mount an attack on the camp, it'd be a massacre.
Ah, but it won't. Sigismund's army is demoralized and weakened. And besides, he's running out of resources. He's able to tackle fortresses that aren't able to defend themselves, but he won't engage an equal force on the battlefield.
But he can't retreat either. That would be a disgrace.
And that's exactly why we'll wait until he's called back to Hungary by events there. For the plan to work, we need allies, their money and their determination. We've already set the ground for it. We just need negotiators who will push the right people in the right direction.
Are you saying you set everything in motion even before Jobst?
More like in parallel, but without his knowledge. If we find support and make it look like the whole thing was his idea, we'll all win.
You've got an interesting way of approaching things.
You're certainly not the first to tell me that. I take it as a compliment.
Why are you doing all this anyway?
Because I want to put a stop to the senseless deaths. And also because I'm happier with Wenceslas on the Bohemian throne.
I'll help you. What exactly should I do?
I'll give you 3 names. Botchek of Kunstadt, Hamann Alder, and Anna of Waldstein. If you can get those 3 on our side, we've won the day. Meanwhile, I'll take care of Jobst.
What if it doesn't work?
I refuse to even consider that outcome, because it would mean slow but certain defeat for all of us.
Why me, of all people?
Because you've got a head on your shoulders. You know how to talk, and you're not just out for your own good. You and your friend Henry are similar in that respect. That's why I know I can count on you both. There aren't many like you two left.
Tell me a bit more about those people, so I know who I'm dealing with.
Certainly. Who do you want to start with?
Botchek of Kunststadt. I know the name, but I can't quite place him.
That's just the thing. He's got massive estates, great influence, but he holds back. He doesn't play the big game, because he doesn't like to take risks. He always goes for the sure thing. But once he's made his mind up, not even a pair of oxen will hold him back.
Alder the Alderman. Wasn't he a Kuttenberg councillor?
He still is. The only one who retained his position after the city was taken. Only he's here, instead of cozying up with Sigismund in Kuttenberg. So his days in the council are numbered. But he'll continue to have a strong influence on the guilds and the rich burghers. And that's why we need him.
Anna of Waldstein. The widow of that rich mine owner. What was his name?
Wenzel Bartosz. And I'm not surprised you forgot.
I was quite surprised to see her here. Assemblies like this are more of a...
A male affair? So far, Godwin, so far. Anna is holding back and behaving like an exemplary young widow. But don't trust appearances. She's got claws, she knows how to do her sums, and she certainly has no love lost for Sigismund.
And what use can she be to us? Apart from her late husband's money, of course.
She's as sharp as they come when it comes to trade. And she knows a thing or two about diplomacy. There are wicked tongues that claim Bartosz acquired most of his wealth thanks to her. And that it was thanks to her that he died, too.
I'll get on it then. Wish me luck.
I wish us both luck. Before the day is over, the die will be cast.
Success to our plans.